Yo, what's up guys? This is Jumpin here, and today this is going to be You Built It, episode 5, where you give me a build, and I will use it and tell you what I think about it. This is going to be the Vorcha Claymore, which was given to me by Main Street. It is spelled MAINS7R337, so I'm assuming that is Main Street. But yes, this is the Vorcha Claymore. And I haven't done a Vorcha for a long time, so I thought, why not do this? This sounds interesting. Alright, so the two attachments that you should always use on the Claymore is going to be Smart Choke and Extended Caliber. Pretty standard stuff for the Claymore. Now for the Bloodlust, Health Regeneration, because it's really good for the Vorcha. Weapons Damage, this is ×3 because of the Bloodlust. And then finally, Health Regeneration, because he's super hard to kill with that. Now for the Carnage. Now the thing about Carnage is actually used to reload cancel in this build, which is really interesting and cool. But for the Carnage, you're going to want to pretty much go for damage, recharge speed, and then damage. And it gets about 800 damage because of the update to Carnage a while back. For the Vorcha, you're going to want weapons damage, power damage, and then weapons damage. And for fitness, go for durability for more health. Shields really don't matter. Martial Artist, because, like I said, shields don't matter. You don't need the recharge speed. And then finally, Fitness Expert for just more health, which is about 1,300 total. And it's pretty godly, honestly. Alright, now for the equipment. Alright, I know it says Armor Piercing 2, but it's actually going to be Armor Piercing 3 in the gameplay. Shotgun Rail Amp 3. Berserker Package for melee and shotgun damage. And then Adrenaline for just better movement speed because he's a Vorcha. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get into the gameplay. Like I said, this build was given to me by Main Street, and when I read it, I thought, that sounds pretty interesting, just because I know I haven't done a Vorcha in a long time, and it's something different than the Rieger Carbine build. Now, the Rieger Carbine, in my opinion, though, I would say is still the better build, because of the whole thing with Flamer and the Rieger Carbine shooting at the same time. That's really cool, and it's just really good overall because it works well on pretty much every faction. Obviously, the Flamer will work really well on Reapers and armor targets, where the Rieger Carbine works really well on shields and just regular targets. But this build in itself is also extremely good because it does consist of the Claymore. Now, the Claymore shotgun, as you may know, is extremely good. Overall, it's just extremely, extremely good. And just has so much stopping power. Now, the biggest downside to the Vorcha is that if you use Flamer, if you play on PC, obviously, like, you're going to have the Metagel thing to reload cancel. But on the Xbox, you pretty much, the best way to do it, the way I like to reload cancel, is to use my power. By using a power, if you press the power button when it's in its recharge state, then that will reload cancel. And that makes the Claymore a billion times better because you get more shots off. So your DPS is a lot higher when you can reload cancel it really, really quick and, like, correctly. Like, if you can do it right, you can just put out a lot of shots. Now, what's cool about, like I said, the Carnage is that the Carnage in itself has a pretty long recharge, and because you're not going to go for damage and capacity or anything like that, and it's a Claymore, it's really good. Now, right here, once again, guys, my computer actually crashed. Not crashed, but my caption card crashed, just like in the last video where I talked about that a little bit. So this is the same thing. So once again, I had to start recording, and I believe this is in the middle of Wave 2, because I didn't catch it like I did last time right away. So unfortunately, you're going to miss, like, pretty much the most of Wave 2. This is pretty much around the end of Wave 2, though, so you're not really missing too much. But yeah. Anyway, so let me go ahead and talk about this build some more. Like I said, overall, though, I think that this is a very good build that Mainstream, I said Mainstream, my bad, Main Street gave me, just because, like, you know, Vorchas are actually to me, I'm not too sure about this, but I do believe that Vorchas are becoming more and more underused. When they first came out, everybody was playing Vorcha because Vorcha was really, really cool. now that the N7 people are out, it seems like everybody plays Destroyer, or they play Paladin. If you're going to play a Soldier or a Sentinel, that is. That's pretty much what people play. And they don't really play the Vorcha anymore. And it's unfortunate because the Vorcha is still really good. Like, they're not the tankiest. I don't know, they kind of are. It's really hard to really put it. I don't know, they're not the tankiest for sure. Just because, although they have the health regeneration, they can still die really easily. Excuse me. They can still die really, really easily because of pretty much any high output damage enemy in the game, which would be things like Phantoms, which are like the worst against, really are like the worst against the Vorcha. Gaff in general, the Hunters, the Rocket Troopers, the Primes, oh my god, the Pyros, they can wreck you as a Vorcha real easily. And then pretty much the other one would be like Atlases and Ravengers. They do so much damage quickly that they will just annihilate you as you play as a Vorcha, which is just so unfortunate because that's what makes him not so tanky. Although he's great against enemies that just normally shoot you, like Marauders or Centaurians, Assault Troopers, Cannibals, that kind of stuff. He's good against that, but he's just not so great against, like I said, the more high damage output enemies in the game. So that's really the downside to the Vorcha. If you want to play as a tank, more than likely the best way to go is just Krogan Vanguard or just a Krogan. So that's just the thing, guys. That's the downside to the Vorcha, but he is still pretty good, honestly. And I'm a little surprised. I just don't see nobody plays as the Vorcha anymore. All right. So what's cool about this build, though, is just like I said, the fact that you can actually reload cancel easily. Like I was saying, the Flamer skill is good, but the downside is that it's like so hard to reload cancel using a power like that if you play on the Xbox or PS3. So Carnage is definitely the way better choice for reload canceling, and Carnage is probably one of the worst powers in the game, to be honest, just because it travels so slow. It doesn't really do that much damage. I mean, it does a decent amount, but it just doesn't do enough. And you never hit enemies with it because it travels slow, like I said. So that's just kind of like the downside to Carnage. But at least with this, like this actually, I don't really have to have. I don't really have to have the Carnage hit them to still make it useful. It's useful because I have this long recharge with it, and I can use that to reload cancel. That's pretty much the idea. So that's just the way to really play this guy, and it's consistently pretty good because the Claymore is just so good. That's the honest guy truth. Now, I've always felt that the Claymore is definitely the best on infiltrators. I think everybody knows that by now, or at least I hope you do. If you've watched any of my Claymore infiltrator gameplays, or I mean, there's a ton of them on the YouTube, just Claymore infiltrator, which is definitely what's up. But at the same time, although it's so godly and overpowered on an infiltrator, you can still use it on non-infiltrators and still do well. Like pretty much like the way I'm using it in this gameplay on this Vorcha. Now, the downside to me though is I think that outside of an engineer, something with overload like the human engineer, Geth engineer, that really does help for making sure that you kill enemies in one shot. That's the biggest problem with the Claymore, is you will consistently sometimes kill enemies one shot, it's over, they're dead, game over, and then other times you'll not kill them, and that sucks when that happens. That's really, really, really sucks, because that can actually get you killed, especially if you can't reload cancel really good. So that's the thing. So that's the reason why I like engineers for using the Claymore, and the other one is infiltrators, obviously. Now, it still is usable, just because, like, with the Vorcha, what I like to do, a good strategy, guys, if you want to try this, is that if you don't kill them in one shot, well, just go ahead and melee them. The Vorcha melee is good, so why not just go ahead and melee away? And just a light melee normally will kill. Sometimes it's going to take maybe a heavy melee, but just to, just make the call, make the judgment off of the fact of how much health they actually have left after a shot. So that's really just the thing. But overall, like I said, this build is really good. It really is. I do enjoy playing it. I just don't, and I just hate, if you're going to use this build, the best thing to use it against is Reapers. I've used it against Cerberus, and I've used it against Geth, and man, oh man, was it not that good against those factions, just because the Vorcha he gets so wrecked against Geth, and that's just annoying. And against Cerberus, it does really well until you fight Phantoms. When the Phantoms start coming in heavy, that's when you're going to have some problems with a build like this. Just because it's really hard to kill a Phantom with the Claymore because it's so hard to hit him. Even if you hit him smack it dead in the face, it won't even do that much damage sometimes. It does a little tiny bit of damage, and it can be very frustrating in general. Right here, I was thinking about shooting a rocket, but then I was like, you know what? It ain't going to happen. So I decided just to relocate and start taking these enemies out from this position, which I thought was pretty good, like a pretty good position right here. Anyway, so, and here's another problem, though, with the Vorcha and this Claymore. There is another problem that I keep forgetting to talk about, and that is just Carnage. As much as I just said that, Carnage is good for the reload canceling, it's just not a good power, honestly. It's like I said with the whole engineer thing. Overload will really make up for damage. Like if you take a guy's shield totally off and then you shoot him with a Claymore every single time, they're gonna die. Most of every single time they will die. 50% of the time is 100% of the time. I don't know, guys. I'm a little lost right now, but whatever. But anyway, like I was saying, so with Overload, that will really help you. Carnage it doesn't do any damage like the shields, and even when you do damage to health, it's not even that much, honestly. It's so tiny that I just don't really know. Like I said, Carnage is one of the worst powers in the game, honestly. Now right here, if it wasn't for the Bloodlust / the Vorcha being awesome, I would have definitely died. That's the best thing about the Vorcha, is just the fact that even when you're getting shot, like if you have your Bloodlust fully up, which is not that hard to do, all it takes is 3 kills, guys. 3 kills, and you'll be able to get your Bloodlust fully going, and it's like times 3, 140 health regeneration, which is crazy good. And it's really, really hard to kill this guy. The only thing, like I said, that can really kill you easily is just going to be high damage, high output damage enemies. And the good thing about Reapers, the reason why the Vorcha works so well against Reapers, is the fact that the only enemy like that for Reapers is going to be the Ravagers. Like, you can eat the Warps, you can eat the Swarmers, and right there, that is so stupid. That is a good technique, what I just did, where you can pretty much on this map, you can just spawn rocket the enemies. But the downside to doing that is what just happened. For some reason, every time I do it, I never get the kill streak. I only ever get like a couple of the enemies. Although I should have right there, I would think, get all of the enemies. That would make a lot of sense. Right here is another good example of me not dying because I'm a Vorcha, which is awesome. And when you play as a Vorcha, guys, another thing too, this is another good tip. If you see Swarmers or if you see a Banshee's Warp coming at your teammates, just go ahead and eat it for them. I will jump in front of a Warp to take it for my teammates, knowing that it's not going to affect me and it might affect my teammates. The same with Swarmers. If I see a billion Swarmers on the ground, I'm just going to let them attack me because they really cannot kill you. It's really funny. You can be eaten by a billion of them and they just will do no damage to you because of your massive health regeneration that you get. Now, overall, like I said, this build is definitely fun to play as, especially against Reapers. It's pretty good, but at the same time, like I said, there is a lot of issues with it just because it's really only super good against Reapers, where against Cerberus, Phantoms will definitely wreck you, and against Geth, pretty much half of all the enemies will wreck you, and that's definitely an issue. The Rieger Carbine one I just think is better just because the Rieger Carbine with the Flamer just does a massive amount of damage, and the Rieger Carbine also wrecks Phantoms very easily and quickly, where the Claymore just it can wreck a Phantom, but it's not consistent. It's really not consistent at all. So that's just the thing about the Vorcha. I just think that this build is good. It's fun to play as, and I would recommend you guys to try it out. But if you're gonna try this, definitely just put it on Reapers. Don't mess with like Unknown or anything like that. Don't try this on Geth. You can try it against Cerberus. It is good against Cerberus. It's just not good against Phantoms because it's so hard to kill them, like I said, and it's also annoying as hell. Just getting wrecked by like 2 Phantoms. If 2 Phantoms shoot you as a Vorcha, you're dead. They're gonna do way too much damage. Like right there is a good example with the Ravager. In 2 shots, it will take me down to 1 hit, and if it hits me with a 3rd shot, I will die. There's nothing I can do to save myself, pretty much. Now this is really funny here. I'm gonna smack the brute and kill him. The Vorcha melee is so badass. The biggest problem I find with the melee though is you can't do a melee build. And right here I'm gonna get wrecked because a warp hit me and like a billion other things hit me, and that happens all the time too. Like if you get hit by too much stuff, you will instantly get dropped. But you know that is to be expected. Like you gotta realize he's not invincible. There's like even the Krogan Vanguard is not invincible. The biggest problem I find with the Vorcha is that when I play as the Vorcha, I feel invincible. Like when you get shot by a billion different enemies and you're not dying, you feel invincible. And then when you see an enemy that actually can kill you, like a Phantom or Ravager or something, you're like, at least for me, I'm still in that mindset that, oh, I'm invincible, I'm not worried about it. And all of a sudden, boom, I'm dropped and I'm screwed. So that's just the thing, guys. That's my biggest complaint with the Vorcha is that whole, I feel invincible, and then I realize, wait a minute, no I'm not. But I only realize it when I'm dead. So that is just the thing. Alright, so right here, I'm just running around the map. I'm trying to, you know, I mean, it was tough getting this gameplay, guys. I have to admit, it was definitely tough. It wasn't that the build was, like, inconsistent or wasn't good. It was just that, I don't know. I have no idea. I think my teammates weren't really that good. Not like dissing them, but like they just weren't that good, honestly. And we were having a lot of problems, just trying to like beat it easily. You know, this game's not about points, guys. It's really not. But at the same time, I hate it when people really stick in that mindset that it's 100% not about points. Because it is somewhat about points. It's not that the points matter, like, oh, I'm so much better because I got a higher score than you. But what does matter is that at the end of the game, if you have a really low amount of points, obviously, like that right there tells me how well you played the game. Because if you aren't killing enemies, you're not going to get any points. And if you're not assisting, because like literally, I think that I can get 25 kills in a game, but still get about 180,000 points. Because if I only got 25 kills in that game, I probably got like 150 assists in that game. And that will give you points. So that's the thing, guys. I hate it when I see people say that the points don't matter. Because as much, like the number itself, like to say, oh, I'm so much better than you because I got more points than you. That doesn't matter. But what does matter is at the end of the game, if you consistently score really, really low, then that actually means something because you did not help your team as much as the guy who got like 1 billion points did. That's really the thing. Like if you get a lot of points, that means that you've killed a lot of enemies, and that's good for the team. Like that is good for the team to kill a lot of enemies. And if you didn't kill a lot of enemies and you still got a lot of points, that means that you got a lot of assists by helping your teammates kill the enemies. So that's the thing. I really want to make that clear. And I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to bash on the guys on my team, but I just think that they weren't like that good, and it made it really challenging at times to beat it. Honestly, like that was just the thing. That was really funny there when that Banshee came forward. Like, I mean, that's funny. Just rewind it because it was really funny, honestly. But like, okay, so that's the thing. Like this objective is pretty much going to show like what I'm talking about. Like you it's easy to like carry bad players in the game until the later waves when you actually need help from your teammates. Right here, because of the fact I'm a Vorcha and I have adrenaline, I'm going to get the pizza box and I'm going to try to deliver it. The downside is that, oh my freaking god, there's a billion enemies everywhere over here. And that just sucks. Like, that's terrible. And I believe someone's going to get grabbed right away. And, I mean, like, I'm screwed. Like, that's the thing about Reapers, guys. Like, and pizza boxes on this map, in that situation like that, that is just not easy. I mean, look at this. There's Banshee one area. There's Brutes blocking the other areas. There are Ravengers and Marauders everywhere. It's just not easy. So the main thing to do is just try to get the objective into the score spot. But it's just not going to be an easy feat. And right here, player who is one of the guys we were playing with, he's going to go down. And I want to get him up. I want to definitely get over there and try to help him because he doesn't have any metagels. But I just couldn't do it. Like I did do it, but it was really hard because there's just so many enemies. And right here is another great example of just massive amount of enemies everywhere on this side of the map. And I believe the pizza box is somewhere close over there. So now I have to run pretty much from one side of the map to the other side of the map, and just keep going from there. All right. And like I said, it's just a bitch. It was definitely a bitch. Like the later waves, playing with the people I was playing with was definitely hard in this gameplay. Like I said, I don't want to sound like a dick. I don't want them, if they watch this gameplay, to feel bad. It's just that it really was, and I was very frustrated. I remember that during like the whole game, like the whole. Well, not the whole game, but at least in this part of the game, I was so freaking frustrated because I kept dying. Because, like, and it's just ridiculous. Like, right here, this is also, once again, absolutely ridiculous. Like, just, why are all the enemies camping the score spot? I don't understand why they do that with the pizza deliverer, the pizza. Like, they always do that. I don't get it. Like, that's not fair. Like, the enemies should, and I don't know what's up with this Ravager, like, straight up, like, sitting on the bench like that, but, I don't know, man. Like, it was a nightmare, but thank God we got it done. Thank God we got it done, because I would have been really pissed if we failed the mission. So, all right. Anyway, like I was saying, so the Vorcha Claymore, definitely cool. Definitely, it is a good build. So thank you, Main Street, and you guys should definitely check it out. Now, remember, guys, if you want to leave a comment and give me a build, go for it. The only downside is I'm not sure about this, so if you want to leave me a build, just leave me a build, go for it, that's what's up. I will definitely think about it. But I was kind of thinking about ending this series in this episode, just because it's number 5, it's a good even, well, it's not an even number, but it's definitely a good number to end it. And I'm just really lazy. I'm sure a lot of you guys know about this series and me. Like, I'm really lazy about it. I upload one of these like maybe once every 3 weeks to a month, and that's just because the biggest problem with this series is the fact that you guys leave me your builds. It's not that I don't want to try your builds and use your builds and talk about your builds. Like, I don't mind doing that. That's cool. But what I don't like doing is going through all the comments, every single comment, which is like 300 comments, and reading every single one of them to try to find the one build that I think sounds the most interesting. Because I don't want to just like be going through like the first 2 pages and see one build and I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool, let me use that. I don't want to do that because that's not fair to the other people who also commented. So I literally go through every single comment with this series, and that's really, really tough. So that's just the thing, guys. That's the reason why I think this might be the last You Built It, unfortunately. But obviously, you can still leave your build if you want. I will definitely consider doing more, because I know a lot of you guys really like this series, really likes the whole You Built It thing. So if enough people do comment, I will definitely do it. But as you can tell, we only got like 10 seconds left, so I'm going to go ahead and get into the LZ. Unfortunately, one of our guys got grabbed, and Chocolate went down, and he doesn't have any metagel, so he's not getting up. And then we get Lone Survivor, but that is mainly because of Jade being a very, very stupid map with the whole LZ thing. There's a glitch there. I think if you get on a wall, it doesn't count. So I think I was the only one that actually got the extraction because I wasn't on a wall. Alright, so like I said, thank you once again to Main Street because he gave me this build. I think it's a lot of fun to play. It's really, really good against Reapers, but I still do think that the Rieger Carbine build for the Vorcha is a lot better just because of the whole Flamer Rieger Carbine combination. But besides that, guy, please comment and please like this video. It will help. So peace out.